Hello and welcome to episode number 79 of the Solo Gamer Podcast. My name is Ian and we are very excited to be here tonight. Just another Wednesday. We're just chugging through the year just like we did all these other years, and we're going to be at episode 100 here soon, gentlemen.
Dude, that's crazy.
20 weeks, assuming we don't have any missed weeks. And so I know I'll be joined by our co-hosts, of course, during that 100th triple-digit episode. Kyle, what is going on, my dude? Welcome back.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, not much, man. Hard to think about anything other than football right now.
I know, man.
In our other podcast, but so just kind of surrounding myself with just football information 24/7, trying to figure out what's the news, what's going on in these games, is anybody getting hurt, just
everyone's opinions of every little thing.
Yeah
is always a big one. I also feel like it's hard for me to even I've played a little bit of games here and there. Total War has been a nice one because this is sort of in and out, but it's hard for me to even focus. And it's like my YouTube knows, because I've probably been watching more stuff. It's like I bring YouTube up, and that thing is just like, wow, the Rams are going to slay the Seahawks. I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, I don't want to see this.
Don't want to see any more of this.
I'm already stressed. This is what I mean by I hate playoffs. I hate them, even though I'm excited about it. Taylor, welcome in, my dude. I hope you've had a good week. It's good to see you, my man.
Yeah, good to see you guys as well. Yeah, I'm joining you guys in on haven't played a ton of stuff actually this week. A couple things here and there, but mostly watching movies this week.
Oh, cool.
After I finished a couple games from last week's episode, just been working and watching movies. So I watched a classic last night, The Departed, which is an excellent movie.
Love The Departed.
So good. I think I talked about it a little bit on the last episode, but for Christmas, Anna had got me these top 50 movie cards that you basically have a movie night, and you can pick between it gives you the genre, the year that it came out, and then the runtime. So usually what we've been doing is we'll switch off. We'll pick 3 cards or so and let the other person pick just based off of those indicators. So we got The Departed last night and watched through it, and I've seen it once already. It was quite a long time ago, and I think it was her first time seeing it. So, man, it's Scorsese, dude,
stupid good, man.
So good,
ridiculous.
And there was a lot of stuff in that movie too that I did not pick up the first time I watched through it, but picked up a lot the second time around. Because it's definitely one of those movies that, every time you watch it, I feel like you get something new out of it.
There's a lot of little details, and people say certain things that, it is one of those very worth rewatching movies where there's small enough details. And the first time I saw it, I think it was it might have been in high school or maybe early. It came out a long time ago. It was 2007 or something like that?
Yeah, early 2000s, I think. Something like that.
So I saw it in high school, I'm pretty sure. And I just have realized over the years, especially the last 5 or 6 years, how little I got or understood from things. Even when I was 17, 18, there's just still stuff that just didn't register for me yet.
Yeah,
at that time that do now. So there's times where I watch movies that I hadn't seen since those days where I'm like, oh man, that was even better as a real adult,
right?
Compared to
with 18, critical thinking skills and media literacy,
and just life experience and why characters might do things that don't seem to make sense and stuff like that. And it's just interesting. Love that movie. That's a good one. How do you so with the cards you pick the 3 and then she picks out of the 3 you chose? That's how it goes?
It's kind of based on these 3 choices. I'm feeling these couple genres and this combination or whatever. So which of these out of that do you want to watch the most? So she'll just kind of pick out of that one, and that's the one that we'll pick. And then she'll do the opposite for me next time around. So
how granular do the genres get? Is it just straightforward action and comedy?
Yeah,
does it get like a little more?
They're pretty broad. There's sometimes too where like I think I've probably seen, if I had to guess without like knowing what's on the cards, I've probably seen the grand majority of the movies that are on there. But yeah, they don't get super specific. It'll be like action, sci-fi, adventure or something like that. And even based on some of the cards, like if I know roundabout what year it came out based on um the genre and stuff too, like I also think it's kind of fun to guess which one it could be. So it's been a fun little game.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
That's
I like
awesome.
that idea a lot. I might even look into that because Alicia
It's
and
a
I,
lot easier to decide.
Right.
We love watching movies and shows and stuff like that. Our problem is we just, especially during different parts of the year, our time gets so eaten up by other stuff, the sports and things like that. So the February through, I don't know, June is just the ultimate show watching, video game playing time because it's still kind of dark early. It's dark early enough, at least for a while, and there aren't really any. The sports aren't really going. Even baseball, which we love, it's a slow start. You can watch a few games here and there, but it's just not. It doesn't have the same impact as mid season and on, where it's like the games.
Yeah.
You kind of know where everyone's standing.
Baseball's like once a week for me, if that, during the regular season, and then postseason I'll tune in way more often.
It starts as once a week for us for sure. Like just when we can catch it. Or one thing we'll tend to do is we'll be watching a show and I'll get alerts or I'll be checking the score. And then if it's in the eighth and it's like a tie game or we're down one or we're up one, it's looking like it's close, we'll throw it on for the last couple innings so that we get the experience a little bit. We watch our team, but we don't have to spend every day watching 9 innings of baseball. It's just too much, too many games. Yeah. So it's just like that time is just so full of video games and movies and shows. So we should be making headway soon on that. So that's a good idea. Maybe I'll look into getting something like that because I think it's a really cool idea. Yeah, well, cool. It sounds like, I mean, Kyle and I are just predictably just sort of enslaved to the football media at the moment.
Yeah,
I know a lot of listeners aren't super into that, so we won't go too far down that rabbit hole. But it's been fun to do our little side show that we've been doing and just talking about it. So if there is anyone who's into football, definitely check that out. It's called The Bronco and the Hawk. It's only on Spotify right now. We don't have a YouTube channel. We're kind of purposely holding off on pushing it and creating social media and doing all that while we just sort of work out how we just want to get a little better.
The format.
Yeah. I feel like we've gotten a lot better at doing TSG. I mean, we're 80 episodes in here, just about. So that helps. That experience helps. But I even just hosting and all of this for as long as I have, I feel more natural doing this show than I do that show, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But just like it's kind of a different muscle.
That's not weird. I mean, yeah, you've been doing it. You've been doing it for longer, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, but if anyone's interested, we do that weekly. It's kind of random when it drops. It's like kind of when I get the chance to edit and upload. It does drop weekly, every single week. We haven't missed a week as far as dropping it, but it's like sometimes it's Wednesday, sometimes it's Thursday, sometimes it's Friday. It's just kind of weird. I'll get better about that as well as we get into it. Okay, so it sounds like none of us have been playing too much, but we do have some things written down here. Kyle, you're still playing some Divinity. What's going on in the world of Divinity Original Sin 2?
Oh man, there's just so much to do. I mean, it's kind of like a mini version of Baldur's Gate 3. It's doesn't have as much content, but there's a lot there. And if you just continue to explore, as Larian Studios does so well, if you just continue to just walk around and find new areas you've never been to, it's like, oh, there's stuff to do here, people to kill, quests to pick up, people to interact with, weird things. Even if it's like a little squirrel that's walking around in an area, you can go up and talk to it. It has like so much to say. It's a fun game. I'm not paying too much mind to the story because I've played through it a few times, so I'm kind of like quickly getting through the dialogue. This is more about just kind of, like I said before, just playing a certain play style, and I've always really enjoyed the combat and the way you're able to interact with the environment essentially in battle. is really nice and kind of unique to, which I don't want to say unique to compared to like Baldur's Gate 3 because I haven't played enough, I guess, to really say that yet. But it feels like Divinity definitely has more of a, you know, more of an interaction with dealing with elements and stuff like that, like to the planet or the environment that you have, to where you can kind of catch certain things on fire or throw poison in certain directions and have it kind of impact how the battle plays out and how you have to move around.
Very cool.
Yeah, I would say that there's a ton of that stuff too in Baldur's Gate 3. Tons of like environmental hazards, and it's actually fun to dissect on each stage whenever you have like a bunch of enemies on screen. The little things that you can do to like make the fights a little bit easier. You'll get into like a fight where you're like totally outnumbered, but like there might be like a chandelier or something that's like above certain enemies that if you kind of kite them into the middle of the stage, you can just hit it with a bow and drop that onto them, and like they take a bunch of fire damage. So there's really cool opportunities for stuff like that in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, I've seen some really weird stuff on like TikTok of like just really unique ways to like defeat people and like just finding silly stuff just to utilize certain spells, because there's so many different types of spells that you can like take objects and like, you know, teleport them to another direct, you know, like all the way across the map. And then like if you teleport them into this certain area on top of all these boxes, they like die on impact or something like that, or just stuff like that, you know, like it's pretty cool to see. And I really like Larian Studios for that. They really allow you to just kind of create your own story in that way.
For sure. Yeah, I think one of the funniest videos I saw was somebody killed like there's like a little side quest that you do at the beginning of the game where you can either choose to kill it or not to kill it, but you get in a fight with this, what is it, an owl bear? And I've seen like videos of guys just taking like massive boxes and just dropping it onto the owl bear and just killing it. So it does like a bunch of damage.
That's actually a pretty difficult fight early on. So
yeah, super difficult.
Yeah, I remember even just in the very earliest of engagements in Baldur's Gate 3, I would underestimate how some of that would work, and I would think I was being clever. You know, you shoot a barrel of oil or whatever, and just fucking explodes like a nuclear bomb, and half of my team has died, and so is theirs. I'm like, oh my god! It's like, okay, so this is a little bit more intense than I just thought it was going to blow up and hurt the guy next to it. But no, it's going to light the whole room on fire.
Yeah, which is funny though, because you can almost see the proverbial like DM of the game too, being like, okay, well I shoot an arrow at the barrel or whatever, and the DM goes, okay, so you shoot the arrow at the barrel.
It's like, as you can see, this room is only like 10 by 12. You know?
Yeah.
The flames immediately absorb all of the oxygen, and you're all suffocating.
Right.
What do you do?
That's one thing I thought was kind of charming about Baldur's Gate 3 so far that I've played of it, is just all the unique ways that you can just run into something that seems so simple and small that just suddenly just kills you and your entire squad, and it like turns into something completely different. It's like, oh, I guess I shouldn't have stepped on that mousetrap. My God.
Oh, I guess I'm reloading that save. Yeah.
I feel like I need a whole mental adjustment to play through that game, because I'm so used to the specific kind of restrictions that games put on scenarios. And I have a hard time being imaginative and creative with how to get through. I get stuck a lot. I noticed I got stuck a lot in Baldur's Gate 3 because it's like, what do I do? Where do I go? What do you want me to do here? You know, in the goblin camp, I can't sneak. It's all these guys. I'm not a sneak. I just there's so many different ways to get through all those areas. And then I would, if I looked it up later, I'd be like, oh, I could have done that.
Yeah.
I didn't have to slog through this thing. I have a hard time even sort of conceptualizing the possibilities in that game. But I'm sure if I played it more and more consistently and for more hours, I would get better at understanding the rules and the lack of rules, really.
For sure. It's dense, man. What a dense game.
I know. Someday we'll make it happen. I don't think it'll be an experience point necessarily, but we'll definitely get there. Anything else you've been playing at all, Kyle, or just kind of that's been your get through the day kind of game?
Yeah, man, I don't have much time for anything else right now. Consuming
Totally
a lot
get
of
it.
football content, going to the gym, and so really the only games I'm playing is while I'm don't tell my boss while I'm working. So
Yeah. As long as no one from your work knows about this podcast, you should be okay.
hey, my numbers are good, man. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's all that matters, truly. All right, Taylor, dude, I've got a couple of there's some interesting games here. Both of them I want to hear about. Before we jump into the first one you wrote down, I noticed that you and Stealing Souls were discussing a little bit of the pre-patch stuff, playing some World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I want to know more about Midnight. And Kyle and I saw an advertisement for WoW. What were we watching? Was that a
think it was on football.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, what a
so
big game to like just be on like primetime television like this.
Yeah.
that was our first takeaway. And then the second takeaway, we're like, wait, have they not had player housing until now?
I know.
They're just putting it in now. Isn't that
What
nuts?
the fuck?
Dude, it's
We were both-
crazy.
Like, are you kidding me? You're like how many? Like you're like a decade, maybe 15 years late. I don't know what's happening.
Oh,
here.
for sure. Yeah.
Like that was the
It's
trend a
cool.
while ago.
I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah, it's not
it
even
has
like a
been.
part of the game that I necessarily participate in a whole lot, but it is kind of crazy that it's been this long. But that's kind of WoW's MO. Like they'll just take an idea that has been done a long time ago and they'll do it really, really well to their credit. Like it's not like it comes out and it's bad per se, but it's also like one of those things where it's like, dude, this should have been in the game a long time ago. Like, they put in, it's hard to describe. So Guild Wars, like the thing about the Guild Wars MMO is people always tout how good the mounts are in that game. Not necessarily in how they look, but more so how they operate. Because the flying mounts have like momentum and you can like actually glide in the games and like you can dive to like gain speed and then kind of like pull up and it'll sort of like boost you on like your momentum. Whereas in World of Warcraft for the longest time, they had mounts where you just get on the mount and you just fly straight. And like that's all that happens. So they just added that mount system, like I want to say like an expansion or two ago. And Guild Wars has had that in the game since like, I want to say since it started. So it came out in like maybe like the mid 2010s or 2012 or something like that.
It's quite a bit newer. It's got to be hard to build brand new, like novel mechanics in a game as big and as old as World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I have a random question about World of Warcraft before I do want to hear about kind of what you've been doing and more about what you're excited about with Midnight. But are you able to, don't get your hopes up. I'm not going to be playing World of Warcraft, but let's just, for the sake of conversation, let's say I were to go start a new character. It's the first time I'd ever played it. Would I be able to play everything, like story-wise, from the beginning? Theoretically?
Yes, you could.
Okay. I think that's crazy.
The only thing about World of Warcraft leveling, and this is talking about the retail version of the game, which is like Midnight. That is retail WoW.
Sure.
They've made all of the content they've ever made available to you in retail WoW, so you can go through old areas and quest through them. The difficult thing about it is that they've made the leveling so streamlined and quick and easy that like you probably wouldn't necessarily actually go back and do that. Like you could definitely get storylines and you can play through expansions and, do all of that if you really wanted to. But it's a pretty inefficient way to play the game if you're trying to do like Midnight content, let's say.
Right.
Because the whole thing about WoW is it is truly the definition of like a loot treadmill. Like you are leveling your character to get through to the end of the expansion so you can start raiding or doing like high level PvE and PvP content. Mm-hmm. So while I think it is really cool to go back through some of those old expansions, they do have ways that you can go back through them and play through those storylines and do those quests. You're going to out level like a lot of the content really, really fast. So what would have taken you, 50 hours in classic WoW probably takes you now like an hour or two to level up really quickly. Like if you were going to go back to like the Burning Crusade, like you could probably do all of the quests in one area in the Burning Crusade and get from, jump like 20 levels or something like that. So
you'd just be doing it just for the sake of seeing everything.
You'd be doing it for the love of the game, for sure.
Yeah, I just asked that because I was just thinking about adding new content into an old game and all the challenges that come with that, and you're kind of stacking this house of cards. I bet it's kind of what it feels like if you're a programmer or whatnot. Code, you're working with code and you're trying to not screw things that are existing and currently working up by adding in new content. It made me think of the fact that Destiny 2, you can't actually play Destiny 2.
Right.
Like they got rid of a ton of the original content for Destiny 2. So you can't.
And they got rid of all the raids and stuff too, I think,
Red
right?
War campaign, all the campaigns and raids, like all the content from the first like year or two of Destiny 2 is unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
that's so crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts.
In the vault. It's like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah,
people paid for this. Because there's been a couple times where it's like, man, that would be kind of fun to just play through this, because the gameplay is so good, right?
Yeah,
let's play through the storyline of everything I've missed, right? Because it's not that long. Each one is story wise maybe 6 to 10 hours, depending on each. Some of the chapters were a lot bigger than others. But it's like, nope. Now you're basically starting 3/4 of the way through the storyline, and we're just assuming you know everything. And if you're new, sorry, doesn't make any sense. What a horrible idea. I just thought of that for a second.
There are other ways too. Like they do have ways of going back and making old content fun too. So it's not like completely like you're going in it for just the story or the leveling, but like there are like rare mobs that you can fight to get like special sets of armor for like transmog purposes, or like rare mounts and stuff like that maybe drop only from like a certain world boss in this one realm. So some of that stuff is still fun to do and go back to. And the transmog system in WoW is really, really extensive and cool. Like a lot of the reasons why you would go back and play like old raids and stuff, like you could like 1 or 2 shot like a lot of the like vanilla game raids. But you get like all the drops and stuff from that time, and you could just automatically wear it to your character, and it gets added to like a transmog library, kind of like in Diablo 4. Like if you pick up a piece of
that too,
it's super, super cool. I love that stuff. So I'm always in there. Like if I'm bored in the game and I don't feel like, doing a dungeon or doing a raid or something, I'll go back and play like an old raid and see if I can get like good drops out of it. Cause some of the mounts in there have like a 1% chance of dropping. And there's one certain raid that I want the mount for it so badly, but it's like a 1% drop. Yeah. So I've been farming it for like, I don't know, probably like 5+ years and still haven't got it yet. But like, I know the day that it drops, it's going to hit. So
yeah, that's cool. I love those like small mega dedication kind of things to a game you've been playing for a long time. So what have you been doing with your character lately? Like what are you purposely playing pre-patch because there's some kind of advantage to doing that? Like you're just like getting your feet wet again, getting ready for new content, or
yeah, so in pre-patch, the thing that they focus on the most is the story. Because that's one thing for World of Warcraft that I will say they've got much better at, is actually having like a main quest line and having like cutscenes and stuff like that. So a lot of the pre-patch content is going to be like one, gearing you up for the new expansion, like getting like green level items and blue level items. So you can actually play the content day one and you can make it a little bit easier on yourself. But 2, it like pre-patch is usually like it connects the story from one expansion to the other. And Midnight is the second expansion in like a 3 expansion arc. So they have the War Within, which we just played through the last couple years and had its own set of dungeons and raids and stuff that like continued the story. Midnight is kind of like this middle chapter that's about to come out, and then there's a third one coming out like 5+ years from now or something, and I forget the name of it, but yeah, it's been a really interesting like little storyline. So
that's cool.
Very cool. Yeah,
I like that. So you're playing Oblivion,
yeah,
as well. So remastered, I assume.
Yeah. I re-downloaded it on my Xbox because I have my Series X again, and it just feels so like at home as a console game. So, I have my original character who I was just kind of making a Breton, like spell sword type guy. But kind of like you, I know that we've talked about this before, Ian. Like, I really get into like the role play of my characters, and so.
Same.
I was kind of playing my my character as a lawful good kind of spell sword Breton kind of guy.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing a little bit of the guild content, like the Fighters Guild and stuff like that I'm doing, and like the Mage College and stuff like that. But, it just obviously doesn't feel right to do like the Thieves Guild or the Dark Brotherhood on that character. So I made a Dark Elf, like stealth archer basically, and I was like, okay, this guy is just going to be like my Dark Brotherhood thief character, chaotic, neutral type guy. So I just kind of restarted another save, and I just got out of the sewers and just got into Cyrodiil. So I'm at the very very start of the game, but I'm planning on just making him my evil thief character because that's always fun to do.
Yeah, I love doing that both for the role play and for the specialization. I feel like you're not quite, if you're a jack of all trades, until the very end of the game, you're not really good, especially in Oblivion where you kind of have to build a class, and really stick with it. I think that's where I got into the idea of creating 2 characters per Elder Scrolls, so that I can kind of work and specialize a little easier and not fight such an uphill battle trying to do everything. Skyrim kind of cuts that out, and you can do more, but it does take a lot longer to level up more things,
right?
Obviously, so I always really enjoyed doing that too. I haven't made my evil character for the Oblivion remake yet. I started playing Oblivion when it first dropped. Was that back in
April?
That was in April.
Yeah, 2025.
What? God,
it's crazy.
I remember the day that came out really well.
Me too.
That's so crazy.
My goodness. So I when that dropped, I played it for a bit, and I was enjoying it, but I kind of realized this is kind of a Bethesda storytelling issue, at least as far as Elder Scrolls and Fallout go, where they don't seem to. They love the idea of being like, "Oh, right, go ahead and just once you're in the world, do whatever you want."
Yeah.
And then every other game, they can't help themselves, and they set up a story that makes it to where it makes absolutely no sense to do anything other than that.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before with Fallout 4. Oblivion and Fallout 4 do that. Skyrim and Morrowind and Fallout... not even really Fallout 3 either. It's really Skyrim and Morrowind are the only ones that do a good job of setting you up to do your own thing. I'm not going to get into
I would say... Yeah, well, I was going to say Starfield does kind of do that, but yeah.
It does. You're right. It does. It does. It's just so painfully poorly written where the guy's
everything's really bad, but it does allow you to just kind of do whatever you want.
This guy's like, "Hey, take my ship and I'll meet you. I'll meet you there. I've never met you, but take it."
Take it.
Okay? Really? That's our story?
Cost a couple million credits.
Yeah, especially when you find out how expensive it is to finally get your first ship. It's like, what did this guy do?
You're just gonna let some like practically
Cast
homeless,
off.
poor
Yeah.
miner just fly your ship? Do they even know how to fly? I mean, this is so. Oh my God, the writing in Starfield is so bad. So you're right, though. It does kind of set you up because if you were just going to do your own thing, you just steal a ship, right? I mean,
Yes. Thanks. Later.
Okay. Cool. Guess I'll be on my way. But Oblivion is like, oh, you just watched the Emperor get assassinated. Here's this incredibly powerful piece of jewelry that the Lord, one of the great Daedric lords, is specifically after. Go straight to this place or risk the destruction of all the planet and our whole world.
Right.
Nah. I mean, of course you're gonna. It doesn't make any. So I restarted. Is why the reason I'm bringing this up is because I didn't play for months, and when I restarted it, I don't know, a month or two ago, I was like, I'm gonna do the main quest first, and then I'll do some of the other stuff. So how far? You just started with your evil character. You haven't jumped back into your Breton.
No, not yet. I think there will be a point where I'll get on my Breton and like finish out the main story again and do all of that content. But
Sure.
I was like, I just really wanted to create an evil character because I just wanted, honestly, I just want to do the Dark Brotherhood. That's really like,
it's so good.
Like, yeah. I don't even care if I end up beating the game per se with my Dark Elf. Like, I just want to play through the Dark Brotherhood again. So,
yeah.
And I remembered even creating my original Breton character. I was like, this is fun, but like, I really want to do the Dark Brotherhood right now. And I can't do it on this character because it just doesn't feel right. So
it just doesn't make any sense. He's like this loyal, this moral knight or whatever, spell sword that's going to
ascetic paladin. Yeah.
He just happens to also be a bloodthirsty assassin.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm gonna play next after I finish up Divinity Original Sin 2, like gaming for while I'm at work.
That's a good one.
I think I'm gonna do Oblivion. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Just kind of,
especially since you've played it already, you've seen everything. That's a good poll for sure. I'm still playing a lot of the same stuff. Fallout New Vegas has been my primary focus. I don't remember any of this stuff. Like every now and then I'll see something. I'm like, yeah, I kind of remember that. I know that I've beaten it. I have a few memories sort of randomly. I had forgotten how open and accessible the main story is and why everyone considers this one to be better than either of the Bethesda Fallouts. Because the level of choice and consequence and kind of how much influence you have and how many different ways you can take it are really crazy and almost to the point where it's a little bit overwhelming. It kind of you reach a point in the main story. It's pretty linear for a few hours, and then you get to a point in the story where it's like, all right, well, these are all the factions. Here's kind of a couple breadcrumb trails for you to follow in any order you want. And then as you do them, they start to coalesce and thread between the other storylines that you haven't even really started yet. So there's times where I'm feeling like, oh, okay, I didn't know that I was going to impact all this too already. I wasn't really even prepared to make this decision. But that's the thing, is that it's like this kind of, it feels like it's kind of a living organism and a place where these actions you're taking are really affecting things. So it's been fun playing it, being much older and having played a lot more games since the last time I played it. I kind of have an idea of like what my character is like, and so I'm looking forward to just gonna keep running through it. So far, I'm we'll see at the end kind of how it goes, but so far I'm sort of working for Mr. House, which is because there's Robert House, who kind of tasks you with things that he wants you to do. It's all about control of New Vegas and control of the region. And then there's the Caesar's Legion, and there's the NCR, and then there's all these other smaller factions. And throughout your experiences, you can eventually sort of lead certain factions to power or destruction, or you can kill Mr. House. Like, these aren't even spoilers because there's like 55,000 different ways that all this can go.
Yeah.
You can kill Mr. House and like take over and be the boss man on the strip and kill everyone else. You can. It's nuts. It's really crazy, all the different storylines. So far, I'm kind of like, I took on the idea, like we were talking about Taylor, sort of the role play of it. It's like this is one of the only Fallout game, or this is the only modern, quote unquote, modern Fallout since Fallout 3, basically, game where you aren't a vault dweller that's coming into the world from a vault. The game starts and you are already presumably born in the wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of took that idea as like, I don't think this person. I'm not making an evil character, but I'm also not I'm a very neutral survival. You're by yourself, not trusting others, get the job done kind of a person. So the fact that someone like Robert House is paying my character and clearly more intelligent and has a better idea of what's going on, he's just sort of trusting him and becoming the instrument of his will at this point. Very deadly instrument of his will. So it's kind of fun knowing that, because I'm not just going to be like the good guy and just go help NCR or whatever. Like, and knowing with the show, we haven't watched any more of the show for a while, so we don't know. We just know Robert House is in it, which means he's got to survive the game. So I'm kind of going with that a little bit in my mind too. I kind of want it to fit the show, so that's been fun. The only thing I've really played, a bit of Mass Effect here and there, small bits, and then Warhammer. I've been playing Warhammer 3. I've been having a lot of fun with the Dwarf campaign.
Oh, really?
Yeah, playing a Dwarf campaign. I'm playing like the original legendary lord, High King Thorgrim. I can't remember his exact name.
Sounds about right. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. It's cool.
Is he the one who like floats on the little chair?
Yeah, well, there's these little dwarven slaves who hold his chair up.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I remembered it floating for some reason.
He tells people he's floating.
Yeah.
It's so funny when you're playing as him. If you click on him, or if you just leave him alone long enough while you're on the campaign map, he'll say some really funny stuff. Like, one of the things I've heard a few times, he goes, where's my bookmark? I've gone and lost my place. Just cracks me up for some reason. It's like
That's
all
awesome.
these little bits of personality in there. It's cool though, because I took over kind of the main two provinces in the mountains, and I've expanded a little bit down into the cities in the plains below, which are old dwarven settlements that have long been taken by the greenskins. And I've taken a couple of those, and like once you take those, you're basically like telling everyone to come attack you. And it reminds me a lot of like the dwarven version of like Osgiliath from Lord of the Rings, where I've just got this army that's in this village, and I can't get them out of there because every other turn a whole another stack of shitty goblins comes and attacks me, and I win a Pyrrhic victory over them over and over again, barely holding on, but it's cool. They're like waves crashing on a rock, you know. I'm just trying to hold on to these damn cities while I get my bigger, better army to continue taking other stuff. So it's been cool. It's a lot of fun. I just love the music and the themes and the like, just the feel of it. It's been cool. I haven't played a ton of dwarfs, a little bit here and there, but this is the furthest I've gotten. I'm like 50 some turns in. I usually don't last that long with the dwarven campaigns, so that's been fun.
Cool,
Very
man.
cool.
That's pretty much it, though. That's pretty much all I'm playing. No, not yet. I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens, and then I'll finish my sim.
All right. Yeah.
Because I'm my save in Madden is currently at the divisional round. It's all set up perfectly, just like real life, this year. So I got to go through and sim those, but I don't want to log on, get on there for 5 minutes, just sim those and be done. So I think I'm just going to wait to see what happens, and what happens will kind of determine how I feel about playing Madden. So
Yeah.
pretty much the only way I'm going to play any Madden is if the Seahawks win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I am not going to want anything to do with Madden. That shit's getting uninstalled if the Seahawks lose this week.
Well,
if they
no.
win this week.
I think it'll be. We're not going to talk too much about it. I think it'll be way worse if they lose this weekend than in the Super Bowl. But yeah,
I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like either way, both would be horrible. I mean, at this point, when you're as close as this, and you know how long you can go between getting there, it's just the worst. It's just so much. Why is this so stressful? It's so
the sting of that loss to have made it so far is agonizing.
And just
Closer
there's
you
nothing promised, right?
yeah.
If you lose this game or you win and you go to the Super Bowl and you lose the Super Bowl, you might not see another team in the Super Bowl for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. You don't know. I mean, there's no way of knowing. And there's a lot of teams that get there and they just don't go back for really long periods of time. Just the Seahawks specifically. The last time we were in a Super Bowl, we threw a freaking interception on the goal line. And that was it. We've been sitting on that since 2014, for God's sakes. Like you just don't know. You just have no idea what's going to happen. All the injuries and people not getting along and trades and just not playing as well. You got to take advantage when
unless you're a Browns fan, then you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Browns fan, you just don't even have to have any expectation at all. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a stressful week. My YouTube really is it's ridiculous. It's not just showing me Seahawks content. It's showing me all the national non-football talking heads talking about how Matt Stafford's so much better than Sam Darnold, and that's why they're going to win. That's
right.
Yeah.
Everything I click on.
Yeah. My YouTube is definitely pretty deep into some shows that I've never seen before because I've just consumed all the content of all my favorite shows.
Exactly, dude.
So it's just digging, trying to find something about football.
I haven't been reading at night anymore. I'm on YouTube and I'm just watching football YouTube until I go to sleep every night.
Are you guys familiar with this guy on YouTube who does football content? His name's Brett Coleman.
Oh yeah, love Brett Coleman, dude.
He's easily the best.
He's so good. Him and EJ with Bootleg Football podcast.
Yeah.
Excellent. Brett Coleman is one of the best. He does both. He does film breakdown stuff. He also does really good documentary, sort of the story of this player.
You've shown me him. I'm looking him up.
Excellent.
He's real good. Yeah, if you haven't watched his stuff, Kyle, I would check that out.
No, yeah, I watched it with Ian actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's very good. All right, let's jump into a little shout out for the topic. Taylor, you texted us. You gave us a list that was bequeathed upon us, not by yourself.
No. Yeah, I was sitting on the couch with Anna, my girlfriend, and I was like, give us 5 podcast topics. She's like, for this upcoming week? I'm like, yeah. Because I'm like, I just can't think of anything. I'm racking my brain. I was like, we've done some stuff before, and I'm almost not even convinced we haven't done this topic before, but I was like,
we probably
have. I was like, give me 5 topics. And this was one of the ones that she had given to us. And I was like, I really loved the idea of it. So yeah, talking about games that we personally love, but would not recommend to most people at large. I think there's a lot of examples of that. It's kind of crazy too, because even coming into the conversation, I really only thought of 2 examples. I'm hoping maybe I think of a third one as we're, talking along. Maybe something jogs my memory a little bit, but yeah, I thought it would be an interesting topic. And she was just rattling them off. I'm like, yeah, keep going. Keep giving me the ideas. Yeah,
perfect.
I'm just stockpiling them.
Well, thank you, Anna, for coming up with that, because there was a few in there that I really liked the idea of that we'll probably do as well.
She's become our generative AI.
Yeah, right.
Hey, better her than that.
Right, Copilot or some shit.
Yeah, it was really cool, and I know we have a list somewhere with some stuff I'm sure we haven't done yet, and we'll go back and we'll figure that out. But it's just always fun to see what someone else who might just someone who isn't doing the show every week. It's like, oh, what about this? It's like, oh shit, how have we not thought of
Right.
that? It's just funny how that works. So that was very cool. So this week we are talking. It's kind of a specific, but then as you think about it, it's like, no, I get this. Like, there's a lot of good answers to this. It's games that you might love yourself, but you would not recommend to most people. Now, I could definitely not think of any game that I love that I would just never recommend. But there are definitely some things where it's like, if I'm talking to like, my work buddies who played Red Dead Redemption once for a couple of hours, and that was the last time they played a video game or something like that. I'm not going to be like, dude, you know what you'd like? Witcher 3. Like,
right.
So there's that's kind of what I ended up the path of logic I started going down of what are games that I would not just come out and just universally recommend to someone who doesn't play games or plays one or two, and someone who plays NBA 2K and Call of Duty for year round or whatever the case may be. So, and that got me on some interesting ones, including some of my favorite games, really ever. But let's do some write-ins. Let's read some write-ins. What I meant to say. Here, this one's right on cue for what we were just discussing. Craig's Game Room wrote in. He said the biggest one is probably the original Fallout. I adore the game so much, but I know it would be too slow, clunky, and obtuse for the average person in 2026. But man, there is no other role-playing game that I've ever played that actually had me role-playing and gave me the tools to do so to my heart's content. The fact that I beat the game with almost zero combat will always be one of my proudest gaming achievements. The game lets you even beat the final boss with dialogue instead of combat, depending on if you can meet the requirements, and that is just so amazing to me.
Wow. That is really cool.
I've seen a lot of footage online of Fallout 1. I've watched documentaries about Fallout 1, about the making of Fallout 1. Like I can see what it looks like, and I totally get the game. I'm also, I agree with him. I'm not sure that even someone who plays as many games as I do would be able to get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember downloading it and giving it a try. I remember right when maybe not right when the Bethesda acquisition came around, but shortly thereafter, I remember in Game Pass they put in like all of Bethesda's catalog. So I think it was probably like several months down the line, like after the deal was done and finalized. But I actually downloaded Fallout 1 and played it a little bit, like for like 2 or 3 hours, and I actually liked it a lot more than I expected to. I definitely agree. It's super obtuse, and I mean, I would definitely agree with Craig. Like, it definitely seems like one of those games I wouldn't recommend to a ton of people. But I was intrigued enough to go back to it at some point and give it a try again, because I think it held up in certain ways pretty well.
Sure. Well, the role playing sounds like it has. I think games of that nature allow for a lot more role playing and sort of creative outcomes, like he's talking about, where you don't even have to get into combat because they're not spending so many resources and man hours in creating a 3D world and fully rendered characters and fully voiced dialogue and animations and all of that stuff makes it a lot harder to just kind of create this blank canvas kind of game like Fallout. But I don't know. I've seen so much about it. I don't even know that I just don't think I would enjoy it. I have a hard time even with more modern CRPGs, let alone OG Fallout. Kyle, have you ever seen any footage or anything from the original Fallout? Have you ever watched anything on it?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen what the gameplay sort of looks like. Actually, I've seen Semenko play, what was it, the first and second Wasteland, which is very similar. Well, actually, the first Wasteland is actually very similar to the first two Fallout games, which some of the developers from those Fallout games are a part of in Exile.
Yeah.
And so they kind of branched off, and Wasteland is kind of like an adjacent to what they wanted to keep doing with Fallout. So I've definitely seen kind of that gameplay, and then I've seen some of it on just looking at the game on Steam. I've kind of watched some of the gameplay videos and stuff like that. It does look interesting. It's obvious. It does look, obviously it looks outdated, but if the story is good enough, then it's the type of game that can kind of get away with being outdated because it's got that like kind of RTS feel to it, to where it doesn't need to be super modern with it. So I could probably see myself getting into that, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, I think you would. I think you would definitely get into that. I think for me, it's less about not liking something that's a little not accessible. For me, I think it just comes down to time investment.
Mm-hmm.
I am definitely more of that kind of quote unquote accessible modern gamer. I mean, obviously there's different levels to that. I was just talking about a person who might only ever play NBA 2K and Call of Duty for their entire life, right? So obviously there's levels to it. I play lots of stuff, but I do tend to go toward action RPGs and things like that because they're slightly more linear and you kind of pick up and play. And I just, with my life, I just don't have the time to, or at least I'm not willing to part with the time required to sit at a computer and play an old CRPG and read all of the dialogue. If I was retired, maybe I will play a lot of these.
Maybe then,
because I'll have all the time and I'll read it all and I'll learn all the mechanics and I'll have more patience. I just don't right now. I just don't feel like I have the patience to play these types of games just because of my life. Like even a long game like Cyberpunk, I can still sit down and play for a couple of hours and have fun, and I don't feel like I can make progress. And I think that's the thing with the CRPGs is like I can't make progress. I get stuck. I don't know where to go. It's not telling me right where to go. It's those things that I appreciate about the good design, well-designed games that don't tell you everything. I think are great. I mean, that's what makes a lot of games special. But man, on a Thursday night, like I gotta go to bed in a couple hours. Like I'm not looking to like figure all this shit out. I was gonna pick up a Ghost of Tsushima or whatever and chop some guys in half and watch a cutscene.
Right?
Like, yeah. It's just kind of the way life is set up. But I would love to go back for some of these old games, these classics like this, and play it. Cream Lord wrote in, Lord of the Cream. He says, the first thing that came to mind was Gotham Knights. I certainly do not love that game, but I did enjoy my time with it. The remnants of the looter shooter live service thing that it was originally supposed to be, unfortunately, is what really brings it down. But I thought the story was pretty decent, especially if you're a big Batman fan. And playing as Batgirl and the Red Hood was super fun. Could have been a great game if not for the mid-development pivot that seems to be a trend lately. Yeah, especially with these overarching companies like WB that just didn't know what the hell they were doing.
This is one
you
I
guys
thought
ever
about.
played that game?
No.
This is one I've thought about going back to though.
I haven't actually played a lot of, just in general, the like Spider-Man or Batman games or any of those. So
yeah, we'll at some point Taylor will definitely choose the Arkham games because those are
for sure.
Excellent. Those are excellent.
So good.
So
yeah, this was one that I was. I've had an interest in going back to this one. Similarly to like Avowed, I think this is a game that I probably would like a little bit more than the consensus probably would. But also, I think one of the things that makes it really intriguing to go back to is it's the last game that Kevin Conroy lended his voice to Batman in. Mm-hmm. So it'd be cool as like a send off, I think, to play that game. So
yeah, it's too bad it kind of didn't turn out to be as good as people had hoped. That's definitely disappointing. And then Miles wrote in. He emailed us and he said, "Hello, TSG. I would not recommend Fire Emblem Fates to general audiences. For new players especially, Fates is not a great starting point for the series. It's considered by many to be narratively weak due to content, and gameplay is either some of the best or the worst in the series. Fates has its diehard fans, but I can't recommend it as a first Fire Emblem game. This holds true especially when considering the games that surround Fates like Awakening, Shadows of Valencia, and Three Houses, which all do different things with the series as well, in my opinion, to a more successful degree. Fates gets more hate than it deserves, but it just isn't the place to start, and I typically tell newer FE fans to skip it. That's in there to me. I've gotten a little bit more familiar with Final Fantasy just through osmosis of becoming more interested in games and like the history of games and development, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point, I am with Fire Emblem where I used to be with Final Fantasy, which is like I have absolutely no clue about anything about this other than that there's lots and lots of them.
Yeah.
And that's like the only thing I know about.
Wasn't always like that. But Pandora's box got opened and they never looked back. So,
hey, people love them.
Yeah,
I
love them.
I'm sure they're excellent. Yeah, I'm sure they're really good.
I love those games. And I have to agree with Miles. Not one I would have thought of, but yeah, I definitely think that the Fates like series, because I think there's 3 games technically, and that's also one of the reasons why it makes it really, really difficult to recommend to people, even for Fire Emblem fans, is technically they split the game or the storyline or the games into 3 different smaller games. So I can't remember what it was. I know one of them was like called like Conquest, and the other one was called Birthright, and then there was like a third one that was kind of a amalgamation of all of them, almost like a Pokemon style thing, where like they had split the series into 2 games, and they just were not very good. The gameplay was fun for sure, but the story was like super weak, like Miles was saying. So it makes a lot of sense.
Strange how they they do that. Sorry, I dropped something else. I didn't want my dog to get it.
And she will.
I fiddle with like things while we talk. So I'm down here this whole time going like this. And if you got a rubber band or a hair tie, that little fucking dog is gonna find it.
Yeah,
she loves those. I'm always surprised with. It feels like I don't know if that's something with. It's not specific to Japanese game development, but it feels like that was a more common thing at one point, where they just sort of like, oh yeah, like the first quarter of the game is that game, and then the second 2/3 of the game is this game, and then like the last little bit is this game, and it's like a trilogy, but it's not. It's all one game. Like, wait, what? It's
right.
Kind of confusing. I see that happen sometimes. So thank you guys for writing in. Appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, great write-ins.
Always good stuff too. Like good thoughts and things that make total sense. Good, just like they say something like, "Oh shit, yeah, I didn't even consider that one."
Right.
So love that. Kyle, let's start with you, man. What is the first one that you have for this topic this week?
Yeah, first one I had to think of is a game that I actually really, really do love, and I've talked about it before. That the reason why I try to stay away from it is because I love playing it too much. It's got to be it's Crusader Kings 3. Is definitely up there for me.
Good pull, man.
Yeah. And the only reason why I wouldn't recommend it is because I wouldn't want to ruin people's lives. Because it is the type of game. And also it is a very specific niche, right? You got to be really into like the political intrigue,
sure,
and that type of stuff. The tabletop type, turn-based strategy. It's not even really turn-based. It's live for most of it. You can pause it. But typically, once things get moving, you kind of get a hang of it. You don't really need to pause as much. But anyways, this is just the type of game where just stuff is just flying at you constantly. You're just constantly having to make decisions. And for me personally, I always felt like I would have it would get to be like 2-3 a.m., and I'd be sitting here going, okay, I just need to tie up this end over here, and I need to finish this over here, and then I can finally feel comfortable, and I can stop, and then I'll come back to it tomorrow or the next day or whenever it is, and then that time would come, and in that like 20 minutes of doing all that, some crazy shit would happen elsewhere, and I'd be like, all right, well, I got to finish this over here, and this just happened. Oh, and then all of a sudden my king dies. So now the entire kingdom has fallen apart, and I've got to, confederate and bring everybody back together again. So I've got a whole nother project. It's just an insanely entertaining game that constantly keeps you engaged, and you feel like you cannot step away. It's a very dangerous video game.
Interesting.
That's a great choice, because that is a very fun game. I haven't played it enough. I played long enough to lose a campaign, which took me like 5 hours.
Wow.
So I was so bad.
It is difficult to learn. Yeah.
I was also just like screwing around trying to learn and with just things not going well. But I definitely understand that, both from a perspective of like you wouldn't want to ruin their lives because it's so addicting, and because it's not for everyone.
Right.
For sure. Yeah.
There's a lot of people who play
niche.
that and be like, this is fucking boring, dude. What are
Dude.
you talking about?
I think that's the game that has like the really famous Game of Thrones mod, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah,
Probably,
I got kind of tangentially interested in it based on that mod. Like I thought it would be kind of cool to run a kingdom of like one of the houses in Game of Thrones or something and kind of make my own story out of it. But yeah, I don't know. Part of it is I kind of have a Total War issue with it where like I don't know how in depth or how crazy the learning curve is for it. So like it's kind of scared me off a little bit. But at the same time, like I do have kind of a desire to play that mod and just go around and screw around with it. So
yeah, I mean,
maybe
Total War is kind of like a good stepping stone to get an idea of how to play a game like this. But Crusader Kings is like it's really its own thing. I don't know too many games that really dive into like the political intrigue as much as this game does, and so you're having to make like decisions, about dealing with the people within your kingdom, and they really truly impact your empire going forward. So it's like you feel really like you're actually truly ruling this kingdom and governing people. It's a lot of fun. But,
yeah, Total War is like it's like a shallower, less complex version of Crusader Kings, like with the map part of it.
Yeah.
And then you add in the battles. And so you kind of get like a fun campaign, but it doesn't have a ton of depth. Whereas because you don't have any of the 3D battle stuff in Crusader Kings, they just put all that time and effort into like the politicking and the marriages and the children being born and like all the different barons in this medieval kingdom and the fiefdoms and who's in charge of what and the taxation and your own sons are going to might try and kill you if you don't treat them correctly or if you don't promise them enough, and then you can have one of your brother or whatever who is envious of the throne can create his own faction and start a civil war with you. It's like way more depth.
Yeah,
on that.
That part I've always thought was cool.
If your firstborn son is the heir and set to rule, but he's kind of like an idiot and is like having a difficulty having children, but your next second-born son is like this golden child, you can essentially kill your child and hopefully do it secretly to where nobody finds out, and then the guy that you want to rule takes over. It's like stuff like that like really actually does happen. It's like terrible to say, but
if you look back in time, it definitely happens. Definitely happened. And it's really, really, really in depth, but at the same time I think the tutorial is pretty good. When you play the game, it teaches you how to play just step by step by step by step by step, and it's pretty good. There's also great YouTube tutorials. That's a game that I am in love with the concept, and I've really enjoyed the limited time I've spent with it. But because of the kind of thing you're talking about, Kyle, I've stayed away from it.
Yeah, I have to stay away from it. It's a problem.
Because Warhammer is already kind of addicting. Total War in general is kind of addicting.
But at least there's like actual turns in Warhammer, and it's like, all right, I have got to stop here.
You're done with your turn. You can hit save and turn it off. Yeah.
I have a quick
Crusader
question.
Kings, I just can't figure out when to step away.
I have a quick question while we're here.
Yeah.
Because I've been curious about it. We saw the new medieval game got announced, and I was thinking about going back and playing. What is it, Medieval 2? I think was the most recent one.
Yeah.
How accessible would that game be for me to pick up and play?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like a short answer.
Yeah, no, well, it's funny because how accessible is sort of a relative term, right? As I would say,
like if I have a pretty good time playing Warhammer Total War 3, like would it be?
Yeah.
Like, could I go back and play it?
Yeah, it's a little more detail oriented for sure, but I would say that I was just gonna say that like the Warhammer series is by far the most accessible Total War. Like it simplifies a lot of stuff. So there is like another layer of detail in Medieval 2, and you'll have to mess with like the controls and stuff so that you can get WASD to work.
Just the fact that it's not fantasy. I mean, just really changes everything about how you play. So it's. Mm-hmm. I would just say in general, changing from Warhammer to any other Total War game at all is a drastic difference because it's more about your military tactics at that point rather than what the strengths of these unique factions are.
Yeah, there's more to trade and religion.
Yeah, exactly. There's just more into that, and it's like you take away all the magic and the giant monsters and stuff like that, and it really changes how you play.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the biggest difference that I would be curious on whether or not you would enjoy. But if you enjoy that, then yeah, I would honestly say almost all of the Total War games are still pretty playable.
Especially as far as kind of grand strategy games goes, it's definitely among the most accessible. I was trying to think of like the other games, like the Medieval 2. Yeah, Medieval 2 would probably be a pretty good place to start, especially if that's what I would suggest even more specifically. And one thing I kind of was hoping they would do with Medieval 3, like I wouldn't play the basic grand campaign for Medieval 2. What they did was they made the grand campaign and then quickly started releasing these expansions, which each one was like a specific point in time throughout the medieval era.
Mm-hmm.
And it shrinks down the theater, and it's a little more focused. And it's called Kingdoms. It should just come with. I mean, if you bought Medieval 2, it should just all be. It's so old. It should all just be one thing now. And then play one of the Kingdoms campaigns because it's all the same as far as the campaign mechanics go. But you can play like chronologically through different periods of history on a smaller map that's a little bit less over the top, and it'll help introduce you to all of the intricacies, if you will, of the campaign. So that's probably where I would start. For sure.
Okay.
Like
cool. Yeah, because I
pick whichever one sounds good, like whichever era of medieval sounds cool. There's one that's like in England that's sort of like the War of Scottish Independence with Edward Longshanks and the whole like Braveheart sort of thing. And then there's one takes place in Israel, like in pre-Israel, but Jerusalem and the Crusades. There's a few of them. They're all really good. They're all fun.
I remember I had a horrible experience with that game with between Scotland and Britain. I was playing Scotland and I was trying to lead the rebellion, and William Wallace was one of the captains that you can have in there, and the Longshanks actually ended up buying him out, like just paid for his army. and it just like ruined my entire campaign. I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really funny. I love that. I love it when the game mechanics are just like, well, he's just a general in the game, It doesn't. It's not.
It just ruined everything. I stopped my campaign immediately. I was like, I'm done. This is stupid.
That's
funny.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it would be fun if you ever play that, man. I'd love to hear your account of that.
Might play it this week.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. Taylor, what's your first one?
Yeah, so when I was kind of pondering the topic of games I really love but would not recommend to most people, I guess to kind of preface this and back up just slightly, I feel like I've gotten better about doing game recommendations because there's a lot of different games and a lot of different genres that I like, but I'm starting to find that what is something I'm really passionate about or something I like might not be for everybody. So while I don't think that any of the games that I'll mention here today are bad games per se,
sure,
they're just games that I just wouldn't recommend to most people, even like what I would consider like a hardcore quote unquote gamer that has played a lot, for a couple different reasons. But I think when I think of a game that I love a lot that I just wouldn't recommend to people, the first thing that comes to mind is any of the Persona games. And that's not necessarily because I think that people would dislike them or their story or their gameplay or what they're trying to do. They're just really, really long games. And it's really difficult for me in good conscience to recommend it to people who aren't already predisposed normally to playing games that are like 40, 50, 60 hours long, because every Persona game that I've played, which to be fair is only 2 of them, but they're all like 100-hour experiences, and including Metaphor ReFantazio, which also is probably about 100 hours. So I think that there's strategies for ways you can play those games, and just as long as you don't feel the need to be in on the conversation as they come out, I think that they're just bite-sized enough that you can play them in small bursts and still have a lot of fun with it. But at the end of the day, 100 hours is 100 hours no matter how you squeeze it. So even if it's something that you're really, really into, it just takes a lot to get through. So I think just by virtue of the time alone that it would take to get through one of the main stories in any of those games, it's just a lot to ask of people. So I think that that's number one game I think of.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Point.
It makes a lot of sense. It's like, you got spare 100 plus hours, don't you? You need to play this. It's like,
yeah.
That's exactly what keeps me from playing some games. It's just like I just know it's like a huge investment.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially that's become more and more true as the years have gone on. That I need to play a game like that on my own terms, right? It's like it needs to be something I'm very excited about to begin with. It's got to be really up my alley. Mm-hmm. So it's like hard to suggest something to someone that's like left field for them or like a newer experience for them that's also that much of a commitment, basically. Like
100%. And like I said, there's strategies that you can implement to play something like that. Like I bought and started Metaphor ReFantazio, I think back in like November or October of last year. And I've just been playing little bits and pieces of it ever since then. And at the rate that I'm going at, probably won't end up finishing it until like close to the end of this year, if not like the last quarter of this year. And I'm perfectly okay with that. Like it's just long enough of a story to where I can tap in for like what feels like a couple episodes of a show and just put it down and leave it where it is. But yeah, if you're somebody that absolutely has to see the end all the way through and you don't have the endurance, I guess, to get through the 100 hours, that it makes it really, really difficult for somebody to just pick up and play it, No
doubt at all. Yeah, that's a good pick. my first one, I'll keep this one pretty quick actually, because we've already kind of talked about it a little bit, and it's Total War as a series for the most part. But I guess if I had to pick like a specific one, probably like Empire, which is one of my favorite ones. But
Yeah.
it's just so huge and so complex and so massive. It's kind of so fun. I just feel like there's so many parts of the Total War series that is niche. There's like multiple niches within niches. It's like, do you like really nerdy grand strategy games? Do you like maps? How do you feel about maps in the first place? Right?
Let's start
like
there.
You're already cutting a lot of people out. We all like maps. I've been a map nerd for a long time. I think my mom kind of got me into that as a kid. She would show me maps like, this is where we're going to go, and you could see all the the mountains, the different peaks, and growing up in this area, and just like all of that stuff. And then as I got into history, kind of seeing where these things took place, and like the political maps of like the way the countries and the empires, the big Roman Empire, and all the different. And then as you keep going, you get into like, you start reading Lord of the Rings or watching the movies, and those kinds of stories and universes are really into their maps. The old hand drawn map. I have
so good.
Great gift I got from Alicia a while back is a Tolkien style hand drawn map of Washington State. So it's like the Cascades. Yeah. I'll pull it down sometimes so you can see it too. It's awesome.
That is cool.
So I've got like one of those. I love maps, right? So like right off the bat, I feel like a lot of people would sit down at a computer. First of all, it's PC only. So you've already narrowed it down. There's a lot of people that don't have that. Second of all, it's maps. So like, are they going to be into that? Then it's very complicated in the beginning. It's sort of like, I put Total War is sort of like football. The first time you sit down on the couch to watch football and someone's trying to explain to you all the rules, even though once you know, it's actually not that, it really isn't that complicated. It's as complicated as you are willing to make it. But they're like, the general basics of football are simple. But if you're sitting down and trying to learn all of the rules, the functions of football and all the different things happening, it's overwhelming. And you're just like, it takes, you just got to keep trying it. And then
it's like the situational parts of it, I think, are the most difficult concepts to grasp. Right. And it's probably how I would think that Total War kind of is too. Like, broad strokes, you kind of know what you're doing. But when you get into like these little niche situations where you're like cut off from, like a trade route or something is cut off, and one of your cities is constantly being raised or whatever, that's where I think all of the real learning comes in.
Yeah, get through that as much as you can, or if things just continue to go poorly and you're not having fun, just quit and start a new campaign.
Yeah.
Fair point.
And then eventually you'll play a campaign that you're really into and it goes well, and you never feel the need to quit. That's always been my thing, which I'm sure a lot of people are like, "Are you serious?" But yeah, so just like all of those, it's just so many different, and then it's strategy, then it's history as well, or it's fantasy. So you're like, there's people who only want the history games, there's people who only want the fantasy games. It's just like, it's not something I would necessarily recommend unless I knew you personally and knew that there was multiple things within that you'd find interesting. But the vast majority of people, I would just be like, nah, you wouldn't like this. Kyle, what's your next one, dude?
Yeah, man. Kind of been going back and forth about it. It's funny. One of the ones I have is actually a game that I just found out doing some research. Actually, you can't play anymore. So
really,
not only would I not recommend it, but you literally can't play it. It's Echo VR. It's a really, really fun zero gravity, like virtual reality. I would call it like an ultimate frisbee type game.
Huh.
So you're floating around in zero gravity, and it puts you into this body of like just a robot. And there's a disc in the game. It's just like Ultimate Frisbee in that way. And you're flying around and throwing the disc between your teammates and trying to go get it to the other side and score. And then obviously you're playing defense the entire time as well. It's really intense. You will get a workout, especially once you start really getting into it. But the reason why I wouldn't recommend playing it, even though you literally can't now, but the reason why I wouldn't recommend playing it is just because it's very confusing, and I know for a lot of people it's disorienting. It's you're moving around a lot, you're floating, and that causes so much to your brain. It took me a while to finally get it, but for some people they just can't ever get it. Some people just get sick off of this game. It's a lot to deal with. But it is a lot of fun, and it's some of the most fun I've had playing multiplayer games before because it's got that like competitive sport element to it. And I've always really enjoyed playing like Ultimate Frisbee or Speedball and PE, years ago back in high school, stuff like that. So a lot of fun. And there's times where it gets physical too, because you can kind of go over and punch a player and basically stun their robot essentially. And then you go and you take the disc from them and try to run it down and score. There's a lot to the strategy of it. You can like grab onto players and like use them to like pull off of and launch off of.
Interesting.
And there's just a lot of stuff to it that's really cool. And I played a lot with Cody, and I actually played with Steel and Souls Semenko quite a bit back when it was like at its prime. But no, a lot of fun, but just definitely don't recommend it because it's kind of difficult to learn, and you may just be really uncomfortable the entire time.
Interesting. Yeah, I was just looking it up as you were talking about it. It looks like Tron, like just the colors and the way that the robots look. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Oh, the other really horrible part is there's like the vast majority of the fan base was like 12-year-olds.
Not the squeakers.
Yeah, if you can just imagine, just like you take the disc from them, or they take it from you, and just there's something about a little kid talking shit to you that just really gets gets to you.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
for sure. That's funny that they were a bunch of kids in there. I think the whole motion sickness thing, that's unfortunately, this is kind of caveat for most of virtual reality games right now.
Yeah.
That's
this
the
one
biggest
really gets
barrier
you,
to
though.
entry.
Yeah. There's something about floating in space, but you're not. That's just really weird to get over.
Yeah. Even the other day, it was really insane. I've never had this happen. The other day I was putting it on, and I had to restart it, and I had it on. You know how you can see before you're in any kind of application, it's just sort of AR, like you can just see your living room through the camera. So I restarted it, and while it was on my head, and it restarted, and the AR turned on, and it captured my couch where I was standing, exactly where I was looking. But then it took a second to like load, and so I was looking at my couch and like the wall and everything, and I moved a little bit, and it didn't move with me, and it literally broke my fucking brain. I fell over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, my whole like my brain was like, well, the universe is gone. You're dead.
Yeah.
And
object permanence is destroyed.
Gone, done. Like you're looking at your current, like where you are, and it didn't react to your movement, and I literally just became lightheaded and dizzy like instantaneously, and I had to catch myself on the couch, and then it caught up with itself.
Yeah.
So that alone, I mean, I wasn't even playing anything.
Yeah, dude.
So it's crazy.
Your brain will it plays tricks on you, man, and it's just weird how your body reacts to that sort of stuff.
It just really sucks too that that's such a common experience too, because I remember specifically playing the VR version of Resident Evil 4, and I actually thought it was really, really good. It was just that playing it for like just a little under an hour, man, I got just super hot and like sweaty and dizzy, and it was like, man, like something is holding back this medium. Like it could be so good, we're just not quite there yet.
It's not there.
It's almost there. Yeah, I mean, not only is the technology not quite there, but the content is also, there's not a whole lot. That's always been my number one complaint. I love the idea of VR, but I think we've got a while to go before it starts to become really accessible to people and it starts to really take off. It's a ton of potential there, but
For sure.
yeah.
No, it's a good choice. I didn't see that one coming, so that was a good choice for sure. Taylor, what's your next one, dude?
So yeah, my next one here is actually a game series that I recently got really, really into and have talked about a lot. And I also think I've talked a lot about the reasons why it may not be something I would recommend to everybody. So I won't spend a ton of time on it, but I'd have to say Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and 2. Like I've talked about before, I played both of these games back to back. So I put like easily about 150 some odd hours into the whole series in grand total. And it was an amazing experience. So good. I love those games. The second one I think I could recommend to people if you're willing to really try your best to get the combat down, because it does not come easy and it does not come instantaneously. Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 is like that same experience, but like on steroids. Like you really, really have to try they give you kind of an out in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 that allows you to navigate most of the combat situations pretty well. And then really the only thing you have to worry about in the second one is moving constantly during combat and also like shifting your focus between multiple guys coming at you. In the first one, they don't really give you any out. Like you just have to purely move around as much as you can, but also make sure that like if some guy's swinging at you from the left, you're blocking with the right. And it's just that same experience over and over and over again. So especially for the first Kingdom Come Deliverance, the combat can definitely kick your ass. It's probably going to take you a good 20 hours to really like get it down. And even by then, you might not be super comfortable with it. Not only that, but I think most people are not, even for like seasoned RPG veterans like us here and a lot of other people, the role play elements in Kingdom Come Deliverance, I think, are like the most hardcore that I've probably ever played. Like just where like your reputation matters, the stealth is super complex and deep, and if you get caught stealing something, like there are actual consequences to it happening. You're gonna have to pay a massive fine that will leave you broke for like a really long time, as well as like you could not even be caught stealing, and if somebody even sees you in the general vicinity of something that's happening and you're out at night or you even look somewhat out of place, like your reputation is going down as a result. So I just think that even the role play elements might not be for people, even if like they are seasoned RPG veterans. It's just kind of one of those games where Warhorse kind of had an unwavering dedication to that grounded realism. And just by virtue of like what the game is, it's really not going to be for everybody, but absolutely one of those experiences, kind of like an Elden Ring, where as long as you're just willing to practice at it and put in the time, it's extremely gratifying. And like I said, I mean, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was my game of the year, like without a shadow of a doubt last year. So just as long as you're willing to get your ass kicked, I think it's a good experience. But yeah, probably not something I would recommend for most people, even the most battle hardened of RPG fans. So
yeah, I thought about bringing this one up actually, and it's funny you mentioned the stealth part of it too. It's everything about that game is just incredibly grounded and definitely like they put a lot of effort into the to creating a real environment, because it's like normally in games you sneak behind somebody or like in a house in the middle of the night and they see you and you go, oh crap, okay, I gotta go hide around this wall here, and and wait until the AI forgets about me. Not in this game.
Yeah. Nope.
This game, if he sees you in his house, he waits for you to leave and he will follow you. And then if you decide to come back later that night and still try to sneak in and steal that, whatever you're looking for, and you're successful, he will wake up that next morning and know that it was you that stole that item because he saw you earlier creeping around in his house. So the moment you're caught. You've just got to leave. I mean, it's over for the day.
Yeah.
Stuff like that where it's just like, man, it's frustrating to deal with, yes, but also I really appreciate that you put that in the game,
100%.
So yeah, I totally agree. It's definitely one of those games where it's like you have to be committed to being okay with how grounded it is. And if you can get past that and you're willing to accept that, it's a truly impressive game.
Yeah. Not only that too, but I mean, I think one of the things that also makes it really inaccessible for people too is the save your schnapps save system.
That's
also
always been the big one for me. I'm just like, fuck off, man. I gotta.
Yeah, because it's like even for as
so much.
Oh, I'm even not a big fan of it either. Honestly, I think
I'm not
in the second one they make it a little less easy, or they make it more easy for you to get like really stockpile a lot of the save your schnapps, and even if you don't want to take the time to make them, you can just steal them pretty easily once you get to a certain level in the second one. The first one though, like there's no getting around it. Like
that's it.
Not only do you not find a ton of them like in the world, they're kind of expensive to buy right off the bat, and you only really get like big influxes of groschen or money like through certain points of the game. So it might not be until like 6 to 8 hours that you'll get another like couple hundred groschen or something like that. And by then you probably want to upgrade your armor or upgrade your sword or something to that effect. So yeah, the save system, I don't like it, but it's also makes the game really inaccessible. So
yeah, the first one is definitely more so that way. Yeah, it's definitely like you can get by, and there's ways, like especially in the second game, like I feel like if you're struggling to do combat, just get like a poleaxe of some kind and just stand away and just poke at him. Like you don't have to be that talented because you just have such a huge advantage. The moment they raise their hand to come in and swing at you, you just poke them and you just keep stabbing them, and eventually you win. There's ways to work around it. But in the first one, yeah, definitely it's like this is the game and you're going to learn it or you're not going to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play the first one and therefore the second one until I can either become more willing to play a game on the PC so I can mod and save whenever I want. Because it's a video game.
Yeah.
It's not real life.
That's what I did for the first one. I was like, unlimited save your schnapps. I'm like, you bet.
So then I run into like a double whammy there where it's like, okay, but I don't really want to. I'm not going to play this long RPG at my desk. I know that I won't. I don't play games at my desk that often.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to play it on my couch with a controller, which means I can't. So I have to like find a way to play Steam games upstairs, which is.
I've got an answer for you.
We've talked about these things before.
We need to buy the Steam Deck.
Yeah, that might be it. Something like that, or the future
Steam machine,
of the Steam machine, or whatever this next Xbox is. It's going to have all the launchers on it. Whatever it is, that will probably be that will be my gateway to playing it, so I can play on my couch on my big TV, mod the save. Which of course will get rid of my achievements, but whatever, and play it from there because I'm not doing that. Like it makes me like I'm like I don't. It's like as cool as the game is, and as much of a history geek as I am, and that whole era is really cool. And like I just a little bit I play it. I loved all the notes that were dropping, and I was reading all the history. I was like, this is awesome. I love the music, the setting. I love the realism. But that one thing of like, oh,
It is pretty ridiculous, and they
It's
realize that,
crazy.
and that's why they changed the second game. But,
Yeah, and I really want to play the first one because I was enjoying it. Like
it is important to play it.
Yeah, I want to. I
Yeah.
can't. I have a really hard time just jumping into a second sequel of a series, especially if it's a direct sequel. So I will do it. I really want to play that game someday. But yeah, that's kind of always been my biggest thing. I can handle the combat and stuff, but the saving thing has always kept me at arm's length. Yeah, that's a good call, man. That's a very good call. That's like a perfect example of this topic. My next one is actually kind of a 2-for-1, because they're very similar mechanically. So I think Dragon Age Origins and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic
Yeah.
are both games that I would not necessarily recommend to my this hypothetical, theoretical individual that plays nothing but Call of Duty and NBA 2K that I keep talking about. Like, everything about those games, queuing up turn-based combat and standing around in dialogue, which that's all the game is like queued up turn-based combat, and like it's weird. It's like real-time turn-based, like, you know, because you're just kind of queuing the different attacks that you want to do. It's turn-based. Each character is taking turn, but it moves quickly enough to kind of make it look like it's action.
Right.
Both with Dragon Age Origins and KOTOR. And I just feel like that immediately. I remember like when I was first playing KOTOR and also when Dragon Age came out and my friends would play it, they'd be like, "Oh, I hate this. I don't like the combat, man. If I just want to hit him. I want to hit the button and hit the guy, you know, or shoot the gun." And then on top of that, like I remember being whatever age that game came out in 2004. I think I first played it in 05, 06, something like that. KOTOR, that is. And I remember after I played it, and it was like my favorite game ever, and I was playing it with a buddy of mine, and he was like skipping dialogue. And I was like, I can't be friends. I can't be friends with you. I was like, we can't play this. I was like, we don't have to play this. It's fine. Just turn it off. You know. And he's like, why? We're playing. I'm like, yeah, but you've already ruined the entire thing. So
Right.
You're not on the level of this game.
That's crazy,
like,
man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, kids change, but there are people who just don't have patience. That are just like, I want to get to it.
Yeah,
And
but it strikes me as extra weird for KOTOR too, because it's like
I think that's why I'm picking this game, because it's like that's not something that person at 14 years old found fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and that comes with the territory of learning what a recommendation is. Like, just because you like it doesn't mean someone else will. And like those two are very much that way. They're very detailed, and it's all about the story and the dialogue and leveling up your character properly and picking good feats and picking good abilities and making sure that the party you have makes sense. You're not just taking out a group that all do the same thing, and they don't have varied abilities to get you through different kinds of combat situations, and just all that, right? Like just all that stuff. It's stuff I take for granted because I've been playing those games for so long that I learned them early on. But if you didn't, it's sort of like me with some other kind of game that I haven't played before, where I didn't grow up with these things, and it's not native to me, and it feels like a chore a little bit. So
Yeah.
those are two games that I would say a lot of people would probably not find entertaining.
Yeah, I get that.
Kyle, do you have another one? Or you? Oh, you're muted, I think. I'm not hearing you.
Oh, whoops. Saving the best for last, man. I just texted you guys earlier when we were figuring out what we were going to do, and I was like, well, I think mine's pretty obvious of what I would choose here. I mean, what other game would I say that I absolutely adore and I've spent so much time on, and I would tell you that you should never, ever play this game, and it's definitely League of Legends.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said it time and time again, where it's just the type of game where you have to be willing to just have a miserable experience for about 6 to 8 months before it starts to become slightly enjoyable. And then I promise it's great.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I believe you. I do believe you.
Yeah.
I do believe you.
And then to add to it, the community is not here to help you. We're not going to hold your hand. In fact, we're going to make it 10 times worse and tell you how horrible of a person you are and you should stop playing the game. And that's going to be in every single game that you get into.
But you don't do that.
I don't do that, but that's the community.
That's
and
the community.
Rule number 1, if you're going to do this, turn off the chat, which you can do.
That's good.
You're not going to learn anything from anybody. Don't try. And it's just going to suck. So, yeah, I mean, it's a really hard game. It is really rewarding when you eventually get to it, but I just think that peak is like so high up there that it's like, what am I doing? You could be spending your time doing something way more rewarding than that. And I, in hindsight, probably should have took a different direction, but I'm here now, and I love that game so much. I put in so much time into that, and it is very rewarding when you eventually get there. But yeah, not very newbie friendly. The people aren't friendly. The game has gotten a little bit better about like having certain things in the game that kind of like teach you how to play the game early on. So they kind of put like training wheels on it a little bit for you for a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, the game doesn't get fun until you get into that competitive mode and you start playing ranked games, and that's when the training wheels come off, and you just gotta be ready to just suck for a long time, and that's not something that I recommend. You should be having fun when you're playing games. So
yeah, definitely all about the when and the where and the how, right? It's kind of similar to what we were just talking about with my last ones, right? The Dragon Age and the KOTOR. It's like there are some things that are just not going to be for some people.
Yeah. And I've tried. With League of Legends.
Too. Once.
And I
tried one time.
With League of Legends too, it's one of those things. It's one of those games where I find the creation of that genre infinitely more interesting than the actual game itself. Like just the fact that it was started from a Warcraft mod, I think it was, and then spun off, and now all of these companies have their own different versions of it, and now it's like a worldwide phenomenon. Like I find that really, really interesting. But yeah, the actual game itself, man, it's rough.
Yeah. It feels similar to like me being a fan of the band Tool, where it's like it's got a very loyal cult following. Like these people are fanatics about this game. And then there's like just this hard barrier, like just a giant gate that just keeps everybody outside of that community standing outside. It's just like so intimidating. Nobody wants to come in, but we're all like, this is the best life, on the inside. So yeah, it's pretty crazy how big of a following and passionate the following is. But outside of that, people could not have like more disdain for that type of game, because it's got such a huge learning curve, and it's not even just about the learning curve. It's just about the fact that there's no progression of fun through that process, right? It's like, at least with other games, like let's say like the Souls-like games, as you're learning and you're getting better, there's little things that happen that feel good and it's rewarding. And that just doesn't happen in this game. It just sucks. And it sucks and it sucks and it sucks. And you just keep getting beat, and you don't really know why you're getting beat, And so you're not really like getting that much better. So you kind of need somebody to be there to kind of tell you what you're doing wrong. And even then, it's still just not enjoyable. There's very little reward because there's so much you have to learn just to avoid dying 20 times a game.
I almost wish in the game there was a way to, and maybe there is, and I just don't know it, but I would almost feel like there should be like a time limit required, like when you first start the game, like for the first, like, I don't know, let's say like 20 hours or something like that. You should just be playing like bot matches where, like, because for me anyway, and the times that I've played it, the worst part is just that I'm playing with other people, and like I'm getting yelled at, when I'm trying to like perform. So like if I was just in a game where it was just like me and like 4 bots versus the other 5 bots on the other team, and I can move around and do all the things I normally would do, and then maybe scale the AI up like as I'm getting better and better to like then introduce me into a situation where I know the character I'm playing and I kind of know what I'm doing a little bit better, to where I'm not going to get yelled at when I get into the game with actual people. I think that would be like a really cool way for them to like have like a new player onboarding process.
They do have that. I mean, they do have bot games. They're just not that. The AI is not that intelligent.
Yeah.
And so, to a certain extent, it is good because, especially when you're learning just the basics of like movement and casting spells and learning to farm minions and just learning how to get gold and buy items and stuff like that. Definitely, that's a good spot to start with bots. But eventually, bots are just so limited, and they play under strict guidelines, just like any AI would. And so, with League of Legends, it's just like there's that variable of dealing with a person that just changes everything about the game. And then, so it's almost like you learn how to play the game against bots, and it's like, okay, great, you know how to play against bots, but now you have to learn the game again, because when you're playing against people, there's that aspect of like anything can happen, and so now the game is entirely different.
It's that classic. I think there's like an old meme that was like, when you play through the single player campaign to get ready for the multiplayer, and then it's like it's like this badass knight in full armor, and then the next image is like a little kid like getting beaten up or something like that.
Yeah.
You think you're badass because you just beat this campaign, and then you go and you just get walloped.
Yeah,
that's
exactly what it is. Yeah, I mean, it's just like you almost don't want to spend too much time learning how to play against bots, because at some point you've got to learn how to play against people, and it'll kind of make that experience worse if you just stick with bots for too long. But they do have it. I think that if they got better at developing that, making the AI a little bit more kind of random and not so rigid, that would definitely kind of help. But yeah, at the end of the day, love that game. I think it's a fantastic game. It obviously is. I mean, it's got such a huge following, and the esports side of it is just incredible, and it's got such a huge following. It puts up some real numbers on streaming.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah. I won't. I already tried. Yeah, it's just like exactly a good example of what I was talking about there. Yeah, that's a good choice. Taylor, do you have another one?
No, I couldn't think of any, so I think just for today I'll have just those two.
Cool. I only have one more. Mine were pretty quick and easy as well. I have one more, and this could also be if we ever did like a guilty pleasures episode. This almost would fit better with that, but I wanted to bring it up because it still works for this, and it's Callisto Protocol.
Oh, that would have been a good one. Yep.
Because it's not that great. It's sort of like it's like the video game version of the Underworld movie series, which is like it's not a very good movie series, but I just love it. It's so 2000s. It's like so badass and corny and cheap and terrible all at the same time. It's got some cool lore. It's got some cool ideas in it. It's like objectively not great, but it's like I love everything about it. I'm just such a little I was going to say a word that I'm like, I don't even know if I should say that on recording, like actually. So, I just, you give me science, you give me sci-fi, scary space stuff, and I'm just kind of sold, like even if it's not anything special. And I think that's why I wouldn't necessarily recommend Callisto Protocol to anyone, because it's like, why would you recommend that if they've never even played Dead Space or the Resident Evil 2 and 3 and 4 remakes? Like, there's so many similar games that are so
or now
much better.
Even what's the game that just came out this last year? It's like escaping me, the Dead Space like game.
Chronos.
Chronos, yeah.
Yeah, I still gotta play that, man. I downloaded it and I played it a little bit and just never really found the time for it. I really want to play it. But I just love that game. It's really simple and easy to play and super cinematic and very pretty. It's just I think I would only recommend that to someone who loves all of the best versions of the genre.
Right.
And then I'd be like, okay, you should play this because it's cool. But it's like, it's very repetitive, like gameplay wise. It's got, it feels like one of those games, like an early game in a console life cycle that just is so shallow and is there to just show off how badass this new console is graphically.
Yeah, like a tech demo.
It definitely feels like one of those early first games, launch games for a new console is kind of what it feels like. But
yeah,
it'd be fun to watch. And I had a lot of fun playing it. I was into it the whole time.
Me too.
I thought the story was like not really well told, but I was interested.
The last half or the last like third of that game is really, really good. It has a really good last act, I feel like.
It does. It has a super good last act. I think the intro is also excellent. It's also just like a little rote. Like it's not super original. If you've played this, you can just tell like all the things they were clearly inspired by, and it doesn't really do anything new or fresh. But if you like science fiction and you like sci-fi horror, that's like the only way I could recommend it. But it's just like, but it's way down on the list of games I would recommend in that genre. So that was my only other one. Callisto.
Good stuff. That's a good pull.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna make a sequel either, which sucks because
it should have at least gotten a sequel, but yeah, probably not.
It's too bad. It did get like some DLC, I guess.
Yeah, I think it wrapped up the story.
Yeah, I never played that, so someday maybe I'll replay it because it's pretty short and I like it. What were you gonna say, Kyle?
I was gonna say I thought about putting Alien Isolation up there, but that's just like my first horror game.
No, I actually thought about that too when I was looking at my games like physically, and I was looking at some other games, and I was like, that's definitely one that would be a specific. I think if someone didn't want to play that,
yeah,
and wouldn't enjoy it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That was a fun topic. I like it when we don't even know what we're going to talk about, and then someone comes up with a great idea, and it's like, great,
right,
that's great.
Yeah,
there's some other good ones that Anna came up with that I'm interested in doing as well.
I know. I'm gonna save those for a rainy day because there's some good ones in there.
Yeah, absolutely, you should. Cool. You guys have any final thoughts about the topic or anything else we touched on at all before we sign off for the evening?
No, I think that's good. Thank you so much for the write-ins from everybody.
Yeah, thank you for even with the last minute poll.
Yeah,
we got 3 write-ins, so that's sick. That was really cool. So you always really appreciate that. It helps us set up the topic, and it's just fun to get some new and little injection of ideas from other people. So we love that.
You know what? Actually, can I plug something really quickly?
Plug away, man.
Okay, so I have had a Blue Sky account for like ever, and I really actually like that platform a lot more than Twitter. Like I stopped using my Twitter, so I do have a Blue Sky if anybody wants to follow me. I just would love to get like some mutual followers over there so I can share stuff around. But I started doing a thing on there where I catalog all the games that I've played throughout the year, and I kind of pin it to my profile. So I don't know, it's just kind of been fun to do that. But yeah, if you're interested and you have a Blue Sky account, you can follow me at Taylor the Savior, all one word.
Cool. Would you suggest someone who doesn't have one to set one up?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. I think it's a really, really fun platform. There's already been a couple mutual people I've had that I've followed on there and post really, really good stuff. It's just a super not toxic place to be. And it's very positive. and I've really enjoyed my time being there so far because I have had a little bit of a Twitter itch, but I don't ever plan on using that website ever again. So
Yeah, hell no. It got
Blue
so
Sky
bad.
has been a great little alternative. The only thing that sucks
yeah.
about it is there are certain like I don't even want to say like celebrities, but like certain like famous people that I followed on like other websites that I wish had Blue Sky accounts but don't.
Mm.
Seems like there's a lot of people in the video games industry that have one, which is kind of nice. So I follow some cool accounts of some people on there, but there are people that have Twitter accounts that have had it for like 15 years who don't have a Blue Sky account that I wish did. So that's been the only thing that sucks about it is there's certain voices or creators I would love to follow on there that just don't have accounts.
And just not a ton of ads and stuff on there.
Oh yeah, no.
That's nice. Okay, maybe I'll jump on there and check it out. I've thought about it before, but then I just never follow up. This is not like a humble brag kind of a thing. Like it's just because it's not really even necessarily intentional, but my usage of social media has really fallen off over the years. Like I had a Twitter phase, and then that got ruined. I had the Facebook phase like early in high school and stuff, and then that got ruined. TikTok I definitely enjoy, but I can't. Talk about Crusader Kings being a problem. I can't do it. It's like one of those things where it's like I cannot trust myself with TikTok. It's like too destructive to my time. Like I will literally not do any of the things that I would, even fun things that I wanted to do because of TikTok. So I still have my account, but I just stopped doing it because it's just too much. It was just stressful. So Instagram is like the only one that I have because it's like not super intrusive, but the only problem with it is the ads. There's a lot of targeted ads, and unfortunately, they're really good. Most of it's not garbage. It's like, oh wow, that's sick. I want that. And that's weird. It's very unsettling how good it is and how accurate it is, and like how it changes based on exactly what I'm thinking about. It's very scary. So the fact that Blue Sky doesn't have a ton of ads and it's more about interaction is pretty cool. Because Instagram is really just my way of like following like game companies and football teams and comedy and like a few reels. You've got the reel in there. You can get into the reels just like you can with TikTok, but you kind of have to go there. Whereas like if you're just on the feed, it's getting broken up by different things, and then I just turn it. It doesn't grab me. Instagram doesn't grab me like TikTok does. So it's the only one that I've really kept around and used because it's kind of like a photo album, basically, is all it is. So I'll check that out, dude. That's a good plug.
Yeah. Follow me if you guys decide to hop on. We'll follow back.
And if you're into music, Anna does some cool stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is I've watched some of her clips and stuff that she's posted, and it's always fun. I found some good music from some of her recommendations, so it's really cool.
Yeah, if you guys want to follow her, she does some TikTok stuff, and I think she's transitioning into more writing based stuff, but her online handle is the stereo.type. So if you're into music reviews and stuff like that, check her out.
Heck yeah.
Very cool. All right, we got some plugs in. We got our stuff. I got the 78 up during this episode. I don't know what happened. I did put it up, and then like it didn't save for some reason, and it like already had the audio uploaded, but it just wasn't posting to Spotify for some reason. So I fixed it earlier, and it should be up on Spotify now. So.
Oh, okay. Dope.
Cool. All right. Well, everyone listening, I hope you have a safe and wonderful weekend. And we will catch you next week for the next episode of the Solo Gamer Podcast. Until then, later.
See you guys. Stay safe.